Hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Real WW Talk. I'm Erin.
I'm Candice.
And our third member is missing this morning. Rikki is busy doing other very important things at this time in the morning today. So we miss her.
Yeah, it always happens on a Saturday. One of us is doing something. Last week, I was doing the photo shoot. Now Rikki has something to do, but we still wanted to come and say hello to you guys and talk about our week. So it's good to see everybody virtually. How are you doing, Erin?
I'm good. I'm good. How was your week?
How was my week? My week was okay. I was actually excited that the topic this week is kind of activity because that's an area where I'm struggling with this time change and with the weather getting colder. I am struggling to get in the movement that I used to do when the weather was sunny and it was easy to just go outside and walk. Now it's like really, really cold or it's raining. So I don't know. Have you had that problem?
I miss walking outside when it's beautiful. That's something actually since COVID happened, I started doing. I'd go up to one of the local colleges because it's nice. They even have it all mapped out for you. They even got like a 5K route, a 2-mile route, and I love it. And it's just too frigid for me. I can't. Well, I choose not to because I choose comfort over uncomfortability.
And they have really cute workout outfits. And I'm like, I should be able to find a way to put on my nice flannel or my nice little workout top and go out and be bundled up. But I don't feel like it. And I feel stuck in the house or I'm trying to find things to do in the house.
Yeah.
But I'd rather just like lie on the couch with a nice cup of coffee or a nice cup of tea.
I hear that. We put a fire in the fireplace last night and it was amazing just to kind of sit and relax.
That's the one thing I hate that my house doesn't have is a fireplace.
We should go buy yourself one and stick it up against the wall.
Hey, look, I'll add that to my honey-do list. I'll make my husband go and put that up next. That's my Christmas wish.
So this week, I know last week we set some goals. One of my goals was to walk when I got stressed. Just hop up and go for like a 5-minute walk. And I'm really proud of myself because I actually did that twice this week. So I even started trying to go after lunch. That was another trigger for me was like, when I get done lunch, I should just get up and just walk up and down my street like once or twice just to do it, get a little movement, get a little freshness. Cause I remember seeing somewhere, some psychologist said that fresh air and going for a short walk helps clear the brain and helps make you more creative. And it was nice. And one of the days that I did do the walk, I had a meeting with a coworker and I just said, wait a second, I need to get up and I need to move. I've got to move because I need to think, and moving helps me think. And we accomplished what we needed to. And I walked for 20 minutes, just up and down my street for 20 minutes. It was great.
Yeah. And that's something I used to do a lot when I was in the office. And I think that now that we're in the COVID world and I've been at home, I haven't really taken advantage of that. But I used to walk at lunchtime all the time to clear my head from the stress of the day. And now that I haven't made that a part of my routine, it really does affect my mindset. Like I can't process as well. Yeah. Sometimes when the blood is flowing, I think it really does do something here. So that's awesome, Erin. That's great.
Yay. So your step bet, how's your step bet going? Are you in the middle of one?
I'm in week 5. I think week 5 starts on Monday. This is my 5th cycle for Step Bet. So I'm obsessed. And as I think we told you before, Step Bet is a program where you put in an entry fee into a pot with other goal. And if you hit your goal, they do a challenge for you based on your step average, based on whatever tracking device you're using. Like I have the Apple Watch, but you can have a Fitbit, you can have anything, and it'll give you a goal for an active day and a stretch day. And you have to hit your active day 5 days a week 4 days, and then your stretched goal 2 days. If you do that, you get money at the end of it. You get your entry fee back. And for anyone who didn't do it, you get their money. And that's horrible. But I get very excited for people who don't hit their goals, which is it's so wrong. Because it's the one place where you're not excited for people to hit their goals.
Right.
You're like,
I
oh, you
know.
didn't hit your goal. That sucks. I'm going to take your $5 or whatever it is. So you make on average, maybe if you hit your goal, maybe anywhere from $5 to $10, depending on the number of participants. But it's a motivation to walk. Get
It
busy.
is. For me, it's a motivation not to lose anything, not to lose my
Mhm,
money, right? But then I
mhm.
have all of this to gain. I get the exercise, I get the consistency, I get a little bit of money at the end.
And I'm financially motivated. I mean, why not? Like, give me.
So, okay, so I know you said that you're struggling, but you've got the step bet that's helping to keep you accountable. Where do you think the struggle is coming in? Is it just the weather change?
Yeah, I just don't. I think some days you just wake up and you don't want to do it. Like, I think that is having to get over the, what I call it, the 5-year-old stage. I don't want to. And being an adult and saying that's fine, but let's get up and do it, because you always feel better after you do it. I don't think I've ever regretted a workout ever, but it's hard to get there. But I'm motivated when I hear you talk about like what you did and how, you had, not only did you have a good week, but it helped you with work. And that's why I need to. So what do you think motivates you to kind of get out there and do it when you don't feel like it? Because that's
Um,
hard.
it always for me comes back to just turning down the voices in my head,
Mhm.
honestly, and the negative self-talk. And the only way that I counter that is just by doing the things that counter what the voices are saying, right? Like,
Mhm.
you can't do this. You're
Yeah.
not going to change. Like all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, no, when I get out and I go for a walk, I am doing this. Yeah,
Mhm.
I can change. I've proven that over and over again over the past 10 years. And it's just like it's just doing a little something simple like that, even if it's just for the 5 minutes, makes such a difference for me. It really
And
does.
you also found, why don't you talk a little bit about the virtual runs that you found? I know we've discussed that in some of our other ones, but that is something that's motivating as well to maybe get out. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
how have you,
I
what was
found
the name of it?
well, it's virtual run TV. Virtual
Okay.
run TV. So I'm not a treadmill person. I really do not like doing the treadmill. I'd rather be outside walking, running, jogging. And I I just looked on YouTube and I said, somebody has had to have like recorded their 5K or recorded a walk or something like that. And sure enough, someone has. And there are actually a couple different ones. They even have ones if you've got like the virtual reality headsets where you
Mm-hmm.
can go on these incredible mountain view hikes and walks wearing the virtual reality. Now, I would not be able to do the virtual reality. I would tip over in a hot second. Okay. Like, that's a given for me. But this one was really cool. This is a guy who lives in, I think he lives in Denmark. I could
Okay.
totally have, but it's like Denmark, Finland, Sweden. You know those beautiful views with like the mountains and the little snow and a little cow on the hillside. And he straps a GoPro to his head. There's no music. It's just the sound of him running. And you run with him on whatever his little run is. And the scenery is absolutely gorgeous. And I found myself while I was on the treadmill trying to, I would walk, but then I would try and run and keep a little pace with him. And then I would back it down. So, I do a little bit of alternating back and forth. But the 40 minutes flew. It
Yeah.
was fantastic.
It's like a virtual buddy. Like, I mean, that
Yeah.
you're kind of doing it with. I love that.
And I love that there wasn't any music. That's the other thing too. So like when I go for my walk, I usually will put on like a podcast. I don't even usually put on music,
Mm-hmm.
or I do nothing because it's like I've got to turn all extraneous noise out and just listen to what's around me and enjoy the quiet. So
Yeah.
I loved it.
Well, they also have one. I don't remember the name of the hiking trail that's in the area, but someone did the same thing where they put the little GoPro on their head and then they went and hiked the whole Appalachian. I think it's not the Appalachian Trail, but it's called the Billy Goat Trail.
Okay.
And it's very, very, it's a difficult hike. I did not know it was that difficult when I went there the first time. I'm glad I did not research it because I probably would not have done it. It's something I would recommend you do during like the spring, summertime, because it's really, really difficult. But you can follow the guy along who's going through and doing the walk. And you get to see him go over the different terrain, and you do feel like you have somebody with you. So I said that maybe the next time that I do it, if I were by myself, that might be something that I would do, because I really enjoy the visual. I'm a person who needs to feel like I'm feeling the isolation right now, as
Mhm.
well, during COVID and during this time that we're at home. So being able to kind of get out, and walk and to have visual reminders is really important for me. I don't know about you, but I need this sense of community right now. And I feel like I'm dying for it. So
Yeah, I'm
I know that you're
100%.
supposed to say 6 feet apart, but walking outside, even if it's cold, is something that I think would be good
Mhm.
to do, especially at like a track or at a mall. You had talked about maybe, there's a Arundel Mills Mall for those who are in the area, Arundel Mills or Columbia Mall. They have options for you to go inside and walk with it being cold. And that's something I did during the summer. I'd like to do that again, because I need to see people. I need to see people.
Yeah, I'm the same way, like, I'm tired of being by myself. I'm really tired of being by myself, and it's getting a little stale.
It really
You know?
is.
And there's
I don't
something
think we're
about
really
walking.
talking about that. That's hard.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing for me too with like I realize that you're so blessed to be in a marriage and have a baby, and I know that has its own
Mhm.
friction that comes with it, right? Over here being single, it's kind of funny, like you learn so much about yourself through COVID, and I'm sure you've probably learned so much. For me, I've realized that as a single person, my affirmation, my hugs, all of that really comes through my job, through what I do.
Mhm.
And part of that is bringing people together. Well, can't do that right now. So I can count on one hand how many times I've been hugged since March. And I realize like I'm starting to get dry. Like I was really I'm really feeling that. Now I rent from my parents, but it's not like I watch my parents hug each other every day,
Yeah.
but I'm not part of that mix. And I
Yeah.
started realizing like, man, that's starting to affect me in a way. But being out and being with other people lessens that. So that's what I love about being outside and walking or, going to the mall. And it's just honestly, what a difference a smile makes from someone else.
Yes.
And giving a smile. That
Mhm.
really like it does. It creates like this oxytocin thing and really lifts your spirit. So
Yeah, I saw a study somewhere where they were talking about how massages have gone up, or, that was something that, because, people need physical touch. And I know we're talking about exercise, but just to your point of how
yeah.
it's difficult during this time, and you don't realize how we are created to have physical connection. And, that's a variety of things. It doesn't have to be a massage, but just a hug. Is something that people are missing right now, and why this mental health journey that people are going on during quarantine is something that I don't really feel is being truly true. I mean, I know that there's a focus on it, but I try to really remember that with my friends who are in whatever season that they're in, that if you can give a smile, that's important, but a hug when appropriate, when we can get back to that, that's something that can be tough to not have. So
Mhm.
they were talking about how massages have gone up because people just need that physical touch. And, even with the mask, finding some way to touch somebody is so, so important. And yeah, I have my baby who wants to hug, but he also wants to scratch. They don't talk about that part. He has these nails now, like he wants to take it and go, "Arr." I'm like, you know what? I don't need that type of physical touch. I don't need that.
Right.
I think I'm okay. I'm okay.
Like I said, it has its own issues.
Yes, we all have our different things, and we all think that it's something else, but
Have
the
you found
walking. Go
Well, I
ahead.
was gonna say, have you found that because of the exercise, because that they always talk about for someone who either like me, who depression and anxiety is just a part of my life. That's just the way God built me.
Mhm.
But, that's an added layer onto what's happening. I know for me, the exercise has really helped because it's also purpose and intention, and it does release those endorphins. Have
Yeah.
you felt that too?
Yes, because that's why for me, it's important to get exercise in the morning, because it really does help me with my stress relief and kind of setting my tone for the day. I get really overwhelmed with being home with the baby all day. Um, my husband is at work, and it's great that, he's an essential worker, so he's outside of the house during this time. So being home with a 6-month-old, even though it's very overwhelming. So having the stress relief in the morning of getting out a workout, whether it be, I've been doing step aerobics, and that's been something that's been helpful, or that's what I plan to do. Put it like that. That's what I plan to do.
Okay. You haven't started yet.
I haven't. I did a few days. I got a board because I used to love that class, and I was like, I need something to get rid of all of this tension that is going on. And doing it in the morning makes me feel great. I just have to continue to do it, and it helps me feel better, and I feel be a better mom. Because I don't have all of that extra and energy. Because like you, Erin, I have the same struggle. It's just a part of my DNA to kind of be anxious and kind of go towards that type of mindset. I'm trying to fight against it, but exercise does bring me down a few notches. So even if it's a 5-minute walk or the step aerobics, I think my all or nothing can also be a problem though. I have to do an hour of step aerobics or else it doesn't count, or I have to do a 45-minute walk or else what's the point? And that's not really true. So, how long do you ever struggle with feeling like it has to be a certain time that you have to do it before it counts?
I've started to relax on that because I've realized that I'm putting too much pressure on me, and that's goes along with my perfection issues that we both share here. And what I've started doing is trying to work on more on the quality. And I want to be careful that I don't replace like one thing with another, but for me, the quality of what I'm doing, as opposed to I could go for an hour, but if it's not the level, right? But I say that there are days where I'm like, okay, I just don't feel like doing this.
Yeah.
And I know that if I do one day where I don't feel like doing this, it turns into 2 and 3 days. So even if I just get up and do 5 minutes, or if I'm watching TV and it's in the middle of a commercial break and I march in place during the commercial breaks, it at the end of the day gives me lightness in my mind that I've done something, and it makes me feel better about myself. And I think for me, that's always been part of my journey, is just making me feel better about myself in my mind. Like I just want peace of mind during this. So I would say that's kind of where my approach comes from, is what's giving me peace of mind. Like this week, I had 2 or 3 days that I did the walking at lunch. It wasn't anything extensive. And then I had the day that I did the virtual run TV guy on the treadmill, and I felt really great about that. And then we have a squat challenge within our personal WW workshop. So I got all my squat challenge done. So it was totally a variety of things. It was not 5 days, each day doing 3 miles in 40 minutes. It was definitely, a conglomeration of things that today I feel happy about.
And that's what I was going to say, but you feel great now.
Yeah.
Like you felt like you had a successful week, and it didn't bother you that you didn't do 100%, like in terms of it being this long. And that's the thing. I think you never get to the end of it and say, I regret doing the squat challenge. I regret going for that walk. I regret any of that. And I think that goes back to also what we talk about in terms of motivation, to do something. Like sometimes it's just acting and doing it. You just did it. And now you're to Saturday, and you felt accomplished. I remember during the workshop earlier, you were proud of what it is that you did, and we always act a certain way when we know like that we've done the things that we want to do, as opposed to when we feel like I want to get addicted to that feeling of like, oh, I pushed through the thought not to do it, because it is just a thought, and I did it, and I want to have that good feeling. I think I just got used to not doing that.
Yeah. I loved what one of our meeting members said. It was just press play.
Just press play.
Which I thought was so simple, but it was a great idea, because it's literally just press play. Even if you're not going to do the full 30 minutes, do 5 minutes, do something just to get yourself going. And I've always found that if I do that piece and I get to the 5 minutes, I'll usually do 10 minutes, right? I'll give
Yeah.
myself a little bit more. But then there have been times when I've just been like, okay, that's good. That's all that I have the bandwidth for
Hmm.
right now.
Hmm. And I will admit that I'm out of shape. I used to be able to do so much more physically than I can do now. But I know that's not the point. But when even in my step aerobics class that I was telling you about, I had the end goal of finishing the whole class, but that felt overwhelming. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to do 5 minutes. I'm going to do 5 minutes of step aerobics and see how I feel. And then I ended up going 30. I was able to get to 30 minutes. It's not the 45 or the hour that I used to be able to do, but I did more because I started. And I'm trying to remember that. It's just so hard when the bed feels so good. Like if we're doing the real talk, like I like morning exercise, but it is so hard to get out of the bed. It's so hard, because I'm thinking about, oh, I got to get out and then I got to put clothes on. And I know some people do things. I've heard some tips like sleep in your workout clothes so that when you wake up, you don't have to put anything on. You just have to roll out and go downstairs or go wherever. And then I'm like, I don't feel like doing that. I like my comfy pajamas better. So I'm full of excuses. I'm full of excuses is my point. But I
Mhm.
want the return because I feel great after I do it. So
I
you
love what our
motivated me this week. I just wanted to tell you that by, kind of talking about your walks and stuff. That's important.
well, thank you. I want to keep doing it this week because I like how it felt. And I think about our guru, Sciat Fitness, and what's he say? Stop making excuses.
Yeah. Just
Just do
stop.
it.
Yeah.
Just do it. And I haven't been just doing it for a
Yeah.
while, but this week I did it and it felt good. And like I want to continue that.
Yeah.
It's funny how one good decision leads to the next good decision, right?
Becomes a cycle. And I think that
Yep.
that's with food, that's with exercise, that's with anything. It's like if you don't feel like tracking, okay, just track one meal.
Yep.
And then, don't worry about the rest of the day, just track breakfast. And now WWE even has they give you like points, for those of us who are rewards oriented. If you track a certain number of breakfasts in a week, they didn't even talk about the whole day, just a breakfast or whatever lunch or whatever you choose, they'll give you points. And as the person who loves stars and reinforcement, I'm like, I can get points to buy stuff just for putting in my breakfast. Okay. So I'm trying to remember that for exercise. 5 minutes counts. And that's what we need to change. Or I'll speak for myself. I need to change. 5 minutes of exercise counts. It's not like it starts to count after it gets to a certain amount.
Mhm.
And I know that there are some of my friends who are watching because I know that you're in the group and who have the same struggle because we talk about it. We talk about, oh, it doesn't count if it's not a 30-minute walk. That's not true. It's not true. 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 4 squats, 10 squats, it all adds up. It's better than nothing. And I didn't do much this week and I'm feeling it. The scale was up this week. And it was because I didn't move. I didn't move as much as I should have. And so I don't want to feel that way. I want to feel what you're feeling, where you're
Well,
motivated to go into your next week.
listen, how you're feeling is how I felt for the past 6 months. So it's just the 1 week for you.
Yeah, yeah. But how did you make that shift? How did you kind of what do you think happened this week that made you say, I'm gonna do it this week?
Well, at some point you just get tired,
Mm,
right? You get tired of your own crap. And it's
yeah,
like, I'm just tired of feeling this way. And going into this new year, this new space as well, like what do I want for next year?
yeah.
How do I want to feel next year? It's not going to change, right? Let me put it this way. It will change, but I also need to bring my own change with it and hopefulness to it. And when it does change, I want to be ready for that moment, right? And I don't want to then wait for the moment to come and then I start to change with it.
Right.
I want these two things to converge at the same time.
Right.
So that's kind of been playing around in my head. And I just want to feel better in my head. That's always from the very beginning of this journey is I just want to feel good in my head. And I haven't been feeling good in my head. And the only one who can change that is me. That's what I really liked about last week when we were doing the gratitude challenge,
Mhm.
was really thinking through and that the things that I am grateful for, but even more than that, it was being intentional about those things and how I felt in that moment with them. I thought that was a really unique way to approach it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what gratitude, how that leads to hope.
Yes.
And you can't replace hope. That's such an important thing in the journey, which leads hope leads to belief, right?
Mhm.
I believe that I can do this because I've got the hope of what's already happened before and the hope of what is to come.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where that little bit of change was. Really, it's all about the mental shift, which going through my WW plan said, hey, we've really got to work on mindset more with you.
Yeah.
And I really liked, that was the approach through it. So I would
And that
say,
was mine too, was mindset.
yeah, more than the
Yeah.
physical, more than the exercise, it was mindset this week that led to this physical part. Like they kind of work together. So goal wise for this week, what are you thinking about?
I think that I really want to attack the mindset as well, because the mindset drives everything that I'm going to want to do this week. So I really want to make sure that I'm taking time to get my mind right before I do anything for the day. So I think I need to focus this week on not only the activity, because I do want to tie it into what we talked about with, like, step and moving more, but I think I need to go back to my affirmations and kind of just
Mm,
um a meditation or a time to start in the morning with just myself and make sure that my mind and my intentions are set for the day. Because I don't think that if I start the day in a frazzled state, it's going to be difficult for me to do anything that I need to do. I think I need to be more intentional about spending some time with myself in the morning. And that sounds
mhm.
simplistic, but that's really difficult to do because we minimize the importance of things. I think we're like, that sounds silly. Who wants to sit down and be like, hi, self, how are you? How are you doing today? Are you doing all right? But I need to ground myself before I start moving. And I think that'll probably help me see some of the results that I want.
It's
What
funny
about
that you say
you?
that. Well, that's actually what I did this week. Was I had my little chair, my little corner. Wait here, I'll flip my camera around. So pardon all of the mess stuff, but there's
Mhm.
my little corner, my little chair, and my little table. And I got up in the morning and I made myself a cup of tea and I went and sat. I got a new Bible study online that I can do through my phone. And so I sat, did that, I prayed it, and that was really a great start for me. So this week is about continuing that.
Mhm.
And then also just continuing to be gentle with myself through the exercise, not pushing myself into I'm training for something
Yeah.
or something of that level. I want to just stick with some consistency and being kind to myself
Yeah.
this week because I feel like my work is treating me pretty hard right now. And it's not that work's treating me hard. We just got a lot of things on the plate. So I've got all of this pressure over here.
Yeah.
I don't need to be adding extra pressure over here. I need to give myself balance. So
Yeah.
so that's my plan.
And I think that we need to make sure, because I don't know about you, but I tend to make these great goals today and they sound great. And then I forget what the goal is that I'm supposed to be working on for the week. For those who are on WW, they have a place now where you can actually capture what your goal is. I found that helpful because it'll show up on your home screen and it'll say your goal for this week is you can do one that they pick for you, or you can make a customized goal. And for those who are not on WW, I'm thinking about a journal. We all have journals, we all have planners or a piece of paper to just write down what the goal is and putting it up, because I am famous for forgetting it. And if you were to ask me on Wednesday what my goal was, I'm like, I don't know. I was supposed to do something healthy and I didn't do it. So just wanted to encourage, us to make sure that we revisit the goal, before the end of the week.
Yep, that's great. And put it in your WW app if you're on WW. That's really, they always say, when you write something down, you remember it more. And I think that's what helped me this week was I actually followed. I followed it in the plan and I wrote it down.
Look at that. Look at that.
Intentionality.
Doing
Well,
what we're supposed to do. Yeah.
right. Well, I think that's about it for us today. We wish you well on your goal. We'd love to hear about it. So feel free to drop us a note over in the Real WW Talk Facebook group. We also have Instagram now. Yay. So you can find us on Instagram. It's at real_WW_talk. And we'd love to hear about your goal for the week too.
Yes.
Have a great
Great to see you
week.
guys. See you next week.
Bye.